Hello and welcome to Setup Phase and back to Spirit Island. Today we'll be playing a moderate complexity spirit, a spread of rampant green, and using only the base game components. We will be playing on board A. Everything is already set up, we only need the first explore. Fear deck has been created and we also use a Blighted Island card. This tells us to add 2 blight per player plus the usual 1. Let's set up a spread of rampant green. One of the older spirits on the island, though it's even more wild and exuberant these days than when it was young. Contrary to the stories, it doesn't think things through. It's just far more concentrated with the presence of life than with things like consequences. It's not unfriendly to the Dahan, but its idea of a good time is to smother their buildings in all manner of inconvenient greenery, and its notion of help transforms carefully cultivated areas into overgrown thickets. Entire villages have been known to move to fresh planting sites years early if a spirit speaker suspects that rampant green is going to stay in the area for too long. For the setup, we need to put 2 presents on your starting board, one in the highest number wetlands, in our case number 5, and one in a jungle without any dahan, which means we need to put it in number 8. The remaining presents is added to the presents track, leaving the first one empty. For its growth phase, a spread of rampant green has an always effect, which means that every turn we will add a present to a way in a jungle or a wetland, and we can pick one of the 3 options. The first one is reclaim cards and gain a power card. The second one is add a presence at 1 away and then play another card. This adds to our played card limit. And the third one is 3 energy and gain a power card. For the presence track, it has on the energy track 2 plant symbols, which will be permanent plant symbols going forward once we uncover them. As special rules, whenever invaders would ravage or build in a land with your sacred site, you may prevent it by destroying one of your presents in that land. Which means that if you have a sacred site, for example here, we can prevent the ravage or the build by destroying a presence. When adding presents to the board via growth, you may optionally use your destroyed presents. If the island is healthy, do so freely. If the island is blighted, doing so costs 1 energy per destroyed presence you add. This is one of the few spirits that allows you to add your destroyed presence back to the board. Usually once the presence is destroyed, it is lost for good. For innate powers, we have 2 of them. Creeper Stare into Mortar. It's a slow power with range 0 and target any land. For 1 moon and 2 plants, we do 1 damage to 1 city or town. For 2 moons and 3 plants, we repeat this power. And for 3 moons and 4 plants, we repeat this power again. All enveloping green, it's a fast innate power. It requires us to target any land which is 1 away from a sacred site. For 1 water and 3 plants, we get to defend 2. For 2 water and 4 plants, we instead get to defend 4. And for 3 water, 1 mountain and 5 plants, we also remove 1 blight. Let's take a look at the power cards. Overgrown in a Night is a fast power card which costs 2 energy to play. It allows us to add a presence, or if the target land already has the presence and invaders, we get 3 fear. Fields choked with growth. It's a slow power card for 0 energy. It allows us to push a city or push 3 Dahan. Stem the flow of fresh water is a slow power card with 0 cost, and it does 1 damage to 1 city or town. And if the target land is a mountain or a sands, instead we may do 1 damage to each city and town. And Gift of Proliferation. It requires us to target another spirit, but in solo gameplay we can target ourselves, and that spirit adds 1 presence up to 1 range from their other presence. Let's see where they explore first. In the mountains. They explore in land 1 because it's coastal, and land 6 because it's adjacent to a city. The first part of the spirit phase is the growth phase. We have the always one, which allows us to add 1 presence up to 2 away to a jungle or a wetland. Let's take a presence from the play cards track and add it 1, 2 away here. We can now choose a growth option, and let's go with the third one. We gain 3 energy, and we can get a card. Let's start with minor power cards. We're looking for plants, water, and moons. And I think 1 is perfect, which is Gift of Power. This has all the symbols that we need and also allows us to gain a power card. Next, we can play cards. We can only play 1 card. And I think this turn will be a setup turn. Let's start with Gift of Proliferation by paying 1 energy. In the fast power phase, we activated this card. It allows us to target any spirit, but again, in solo play, we can target ourselves. We can add 1 presence at a land 1 away from our presence that we already possess. Let's add a presence from the play cards track and add it here. We have completed the slow power phase. We cannot activate our innate powers. Next, the invader phase. No blighted island, no fear, no ravage, but they will build in the mountains. One city in both lands, and they explore in the wetlands. They explore here and here because it's adjacent to a city. We move the cards along, and the slow power phase, we have nothing. Time passes, we discard the cards, nothing to heal. We move on to the next turn. For the next turn, we start with the growth phase. We need to add a presence to a land that is 2 away from a presence we already possess, and it must be a jungle or a wetland. Let's add it from the energy track and add it to this land. And we get to choose 1 of the growth options. Let's choose the middle one. We can add another presence to a land 1 away. We will take it again from the energy track and add it in this land to create a sacred site. We gain 1 energy, and we can play 2 cards, and because we picked the middle option for the growth, we can play another card for a total of 3. And let's play these 3 power cards. Stem the flow of fresh water, doesn't cost anything. Fields choked with growth, doesn't cost anything. And the Gift of Power, which doesn't cost anything. For the innate powers, we have 1 moon and 2 plants. We have the slow power at level 1. And for the fast innate power, we have 3 water. We have 4 plants. which means we only have the second one. We go into the fast power phase. The only one is the innate power all enveloping green, which allows us to defend 4. I will use the defend 4 here in order to protect our sacred site. We move on to the invader phase. No blighted island, no fear cards, ravage. In land 1 they do 3 damage, which adds a blight. In land 6 we have defend 4, the Dahan attack back with a strength of 2, which generates us 1 fear for destroying the city. They build in the wetlands. They build here and here, a city each. And they explore in the sands. Both of them because they are adjacent to lands with cities or towns. We move the invader actions along. And we go on to the slow power phase. In the slow power phase, let's start with the stem of fresh water and choose land number 5. It has to be 1 away from a sacred site. This is the sacred site and a range of 1 away. It says that we can do 1 damage to 1 city or town, but if the land is mountain or sands, we instead do 1 damage to each city and town. It is a wetland, so we only do 1 damage to 1 city. Next, since we're here, let's activate our slow power phase. It requires a range of 0 in this land, and we can do 1 damage to 1 city and town, enough to destroy the city and gain us a fear. Next, let's use fields choked with growth. It allows us to push 1 city or 3 Dahan. Let's choose this land, which is 1 away from a presence. And we will push 3 Dahan, and let's push them into land number 5. Our last power card allows us to gain 1 minor power card. I'll discard them now just to make space. And let's take Call of the Dahan Ways. We need to target a land with Dahan 1 away. It allows us to replace 1 explorer with a Dahan, or if we have 2 moons, to replace 1 city with a Dahan. We move into time passes. We remove the reminder token, nothing to heal, and we go on to the next turn. In the growth phase, as with last turns, we need to add a presence to a jungle or wetlands 2 away. Let's add it from the energy track and add it to land number 2. And we need to pick 1 of the remaining options. Since we only have 2 cards remaining, I don't think there's a reason to pick the second one. Let's go for the third one. We get 3 energy and a power card, which will be minor for now. We could use some defense. Let's take Sap the Strength of Multitudes. It's a range 0 card. It allows us to defend 5, but if we have an heir, we get to increase the power range by 1. Growth phase is done. We gain 2 energy. And we can play 2 cards. Let's play the newly gotten card, Sap the Strength of Multitudes, and Overgrowth in a Night. Second card costs us 2 energy. The fast power phase, we can defend 5 at a range 0, which will be here. And the next one, it allows us to either add a presence, or if the target land has presence and invaders, we gain 3 fear. Let's start with the fear and choose this land. It has our presence and invaders, and we get 3 fear. 2 fear gets us a fear card, and the next fear. For the innate powers, we only get the slow power because we have 1 moon, 1 plant, and another one from the presence track. We are missing another plant to defend to. That means that we have nothing more to do in the fast power phase. Next comes the invader phase, no blighted island, but we do have a fear at terror level 1, which allows us to defend 2 in all lands with presence. For the invaders, they ravage in the wetlands. In land 2, we have defend 5. They do 3, 5, 6 damage, but we also have another 2 defend. From the fear card, more than enough to defend this entire land. And afterwards, the Dahan attack back with a strength of 2. Let's attack this town. This town has 3 health, and we will do 2 damage to it. In land 5, we have a defend 2 because of the fear card. The Dahan attack back and destroy this explorer. They are going to build in the sands, which means here and here. And they are going to explore in the jungles. Land 3 because it's coastal, and here because it already has a city. In the slow power phase, we have established that we only have the innate power. We have 1 moon, 1 plant, and another one from the presence track. We can deal 1 damage to 1 city or town. Let's finish this town, and we get 2 more fear. Time passes, we discard the cards, we turn any reminder tokens, nothing to heal, and I forgot to advance the actions. We start with the growth phase. We can add 1 presence. Let's add it again from the energy track and add it in this land because of the always effect. And we only have 1 card in hand. Let's do the reclaim. We take all the cards and we gain 1 power card. This time I will go for a major power card. As before, draw 4 and choose 1. Let's take Jungle Hungers. Since we're taking a major power card, we need to forget 1 card. And I think I will forget Gift of Proliferation. We next gain 2 energy from the energy track. And we can play 2 cards. Let's play Jungle Hungers and Gift of Power. We pay 3 energy for the Jungle Hungers. In the fast power phase, we have 1 water and 1, 2, 3 plants. We can do a defend 2 at a range 1 from a sacred site. Let's defend 2 here so that the blight doesn't cascade. We go to the invaders. No blight, no fear. They ravage in the sands. We have defended here for 2. They only do 1 damage, which is not enough to add a blight. But they do 3 damage here, which is enough to add another blight. They build in the jungles. Here they build a city. And here they build a town. And they explore in all coastal lands. We move the invader cards and go into the slow power phase. Let's start with the jungle hungers. We have to target a land that is one away from a jungle with a presence. Here's a jungle with a presence, and we will target this land. It says that we can destroy all explorers and all cities, as well as all the Han. But if we have 2 moons and 3 planets, we can destroy a town and do not destroy any Dahans. This means that in this land we get to destroy all explorers, all cities, and 1 town. 2 fear for the town, 1 fear for the city. This gets us a power card and 2 remaining fear. We have 2 moons and 3 planets. So we can do the slow power phase. In a range 0, we can do 1 damage to 1 city or town, and then we can repeat this power. Let's choose this land, where we do 1 damage and then repeat it to do another damage and gain a fear. We move into the time passes, nothing to heal, discard cards, and return the tokens. For the next turn, we again get to add a presence. Let's add it from the card play track and add it here because we need to add it to a jungle or a wetland. And then we can use the second growth option to add another presence. Let's again add it from the play cards track, and it needs to be 1 away. And let's add it here. We can now play 3 cards plus 1 from the growth option for a total of 2, but before that we gain 2 energy. We have 5 cards left. Let's play Overgrowth in a Night. We don't need any defend this turn, which means let's play the remaining cards. Call of the Dahan Ways costs 1 energy, and Overgrowth in a Night costs 2. In the fast power phase, we can activate Overgrowth in a Night. It doesn't matter, let's target this land. If the target land has your presence and invaders, we gain 3 fear. 1 fear gets us a fear card, which moves us to terror level 2, and then we generate 2 more fear. For the innate powers, we have 1, 2, 3 water, and 1, 2, 3, 4 plants, enough for a defend 4, which we will use in this land. We move on to the invader phase. No blighted island card yet, but we have fear. We have 2 cards which we will resolve in order on terror level 2. The first one says that each city destroys 1 explorer in its land, and each town destroys 2 explorers in its land. Let's start in order. In land 1, this city destroys 1 explorer. This city destroys 1 explorer, nothing here. 1 explorer destroyed, and 1 explorer destroyed. And the second card, in each land with Dahan, we have defend 1 plus an additional defend 1 per Dahan. It doesn't matter because we have already defended the only land that will be attacked. In the invader phase, they will ravage here, but we have to defend from our innate power and a lot of defend from the fear card. The Dahan do 2 damage each back, enough to destroy these explorers. They will build in the coastal lands. In this land, they will build a town, and in this land, they will build another town. And they will explore in the mountains. Here because it's coastal, and here because it's adjacent to a city or a town. Next comes the slow power phase. Let's start with Call of the Dahanways. We need to target land at range 1 with Dahan. Let's target this land. It has a Dahan. We have 2 moons, which means we can do the second option. You may instead replace one city with a Dahan. For replacing components, we do not get any fear. Let's use fields choked with growth. With this, we can push one city or 3 Dahan. We need to target a land one away. Let's target this land again, and we can push these 2 Dahans into land number 1. Stem the flow of fresh water. It requires us to target a land one away from a sacred site. We will target land 1, and because it's a mountain, we get to do 1 damage to each city and town. This takes 1 damage, and this takes 1 damage. We only have the innate power remaining. We have 2 moons and 1, 2, 3 plants. Actually, we have 4, but we don't have the last moon. This means that we do 1 damage to 1 city or town, and then we repeat this power. Let's do 2 damage to this town, and we get 2 fear. At the end of the turn, we discard all the cards. We return the markers, and every damage piece heals up to full. And we also move the invader cards. We also have 4 fear, which is enough to generate a fear card. Next turn we start with the growth phase. We take 1 presence from the energy track and add it to a jungle or wetlands. Let's add it here. And we have only 1 card remaining. Let's do the reclaim action. We take all the cards back and take a minor power card. Let's take Lure of the Unknown. It's a fast power. We can target at range 2 a land with no invaders and gather 1 city or explorer. We gain 2 energy and we can play 3 cards. The first one is the new card that we got. They will ravage in the coastal, so everywhere around here. We can play Sap the Strength of Multitudes to defend. And our major power card. We pay 3 energy for the major power card and we move on. Let's start with the Lure of the Unknown. We will target this land and we can gather 1 explorer. Let's gather it from land 6. Defend we will use in land number 1. And for the innate power we have we can do it differently. Let's say that with the Lure of the Unknown we gather 1 from this land and then we defend 5 there. And we have only 1 water and 4 plants. A defend 4 to arrange 1 away from a sacred site. Let's defend 2 here. With this we have completed the slow power phase in the Invaders. No blighted island, but we do have fear at terror level 2. Each player may gather 1 explorer into a land with cities or towns, or gather 1 city in a land with a town. Let's gather this city into here. The invaders, they ravage in the coastal. We have a defend 5. In land number 2, they attack with 2, 5, 6. Not enough to add a blight. And in land 1, they attack with a strength of 3. We have a defend 2 for our innate power and a Dahan attack back, destroying everything and generating 1 fear. They're going to build in the mountains. The only one left is land 6, where they build 1 city. And they explore in the sands. Here because it's adjacent to a land with a town, and here because it has a city. Next comes the slow power phase. We start with the jungle that hungers. We need to target 1 land that is 1 away from a land with a presence in a jungle. So a land with jungle presence and 1 away will be land number 2. We have 2 moons and 4 plants. We can do both options. As we did before, we destroy all explorers, all cities, and 1 town. This gives us 2 fear, this gives us another fear, which is enough to generate a fear card. And for our slow power, we have 2 moons and 4 plants. We can do 1 damage to 1 city, which is this one, and then we repeat this power, doing another damage to generate 1 fear. We move the invader cards. We discard all the cards, return the tokens, and nothing left to heal. For the next turn, we add 1 presence. Let's add this presence. It needs to be in a jungle or a wetlands. Let's add it here. And let's take the second growth option. We add another presence to a land 1 away. Let's add it here. And we can play an extra card. This means 4 plus 1, we can play 5 cards. And we gain 3 energy. We only have 5 cards to play. We need to pay 1 and then 2 energy. We go into the fast power phase. And we only need to use overgrowth. We can target a land 1 away with presence, this one, and generate 3 fear, which gets us 1 fear card, moves us into Terror level 2, and the victory condition is to eliminate all towns, which we already have done. This means that we have won this game of Spirit Island with a spread of Rampant Green. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. Have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.